Hey guys, it's Izzy here with another up close and personal video. We are going to be looking at horrors, thrillers, mysteries, spooky books in general that you guys should pick up in October, books that I hope I can get to sometime soon because it is the spooky season. We want to read spooky books. Let's get into it. I'm typically someone who doesn't gravitate towards these kind of books. Once I start reading one, I may be like, ooh, this is really good, but it's not usually a genre that piques my interest, but I try to read every genre because there are good books in every single genre. That is a true statement. But it's only just hard for me to find books that I think I might like. So videos like this one are very helpful for me. And Fred just walked in. Today is his gotcha day. I got him on this day 9 years ago. And he's my best friend. He's a black cat, so, you know, perfect for the spooky season. But that is off topic. So let's get into the book. So I was saying, I don't really gravitate towards these, so a lot of them I got in subscription boxes. One being the Unplugged book box, which wasn't really for me because it was a lot of these horror books and those aren't really my jam. So I wanted a more of a historical literary fiction kind of box, but that's not what I got. But I will still link it down below because I know these books are extremely popular. I did keep some of them and some I did end up unhauling. Here's one that I kept. This is called They Drown Our Daughters by Catriona Munro. If you can hear the call of the water, it's already too late. They say Cape Disappointment is haunted. That's why tourists used to flock there in droves. They'd visit the rocky shoreline under the old lighthouse's watchful eye and fish shells from the water as they pretended to spot dark shapes in the surf. Long gone. When Meredith Strand and her young daughter returned to Meredith's childhood home after an acrimonious split from her wife, the Cape seems more haunted by regret than any malevolent force. So part modern gothic, part ghost story, They Drown Our Daughters explores the depths of motherhood, identity, and the lengths a woman will go to hold on to both. So interesting themes that we do see done quite often, but in a horror with ghosts and everything that is quite different. There's one that I actually won in a giveaway, and it is Blacktop Wasteland by S.A. Crosby. I've read another book by this author and did not love it. I unhauled it, so hopefully I will enjoy this one more. Again, this is an ARC though. Husband, a father, a son, a business owner, and the best getaway driver east of the Mississippi. Beauregard Bug Montage is an honest mechanic, a loving husband, and a hard-working dad. Bug knows that there's no future in the man he used to be, known from the hills of North Carolina to the beaches of Florida as the best woman on the East Coast. So haunted by the ghost of who he used to be and the father who disappeared when he needed him the most, Bug must find a way to navigate this blacktop wasteland or die trying. So this is more, they say, like Ocean 11 meets Drive with a Southern noir twist. So I haven't seen either of those movies. I've seen parts of Ocean 11 and Drive. I am totally blanking on what that is. But Getaway Drivers, that kind of thing, I'm assuming. So more of a thriller than a horror. Here's actually one that I got. I'm technically borrowing it, I guess, but yeah, it wasn't given to me as a gift, but my grandma was like, you should read this. So that's why I have it, and I have not gone to it yet. So as you can see, like, none of these books so far ones I've bought myself. But this is The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. Oh my gosh, that is so creepy right there. Okay, let's see what this is about. So it's now a motion picture with Amy Adams. I watched a movie with Amy Adams in last night, but okay. It isn't paranoia if it's really happening. Anna Fox lives alone, a recluse in her New York City home, unable to venture outside. Ooh, agoraphobic maybe? She spends her days drinking wine, maybe too much, watching old movies, recalling happier times, and spying on her neighbors. What is real? What is imagined? Who is in danger? Who is in control? In this diabolically gripping thriller, no one and nothing is what it seems. So psychological aspects, which I love reading about. Another one I got in the Unplugged book box is Finnan Street by Anne Emery. Irish people come for me. They do not mess around. I did a DNA test before and was reading out my counties where it said I had ancestors from, and obviously I am ignorant. I don't know how to pronounce that. They came for me, so I am sorry for not being able to pronounce this. I am ignorant, as I said. Please don't attack me because that's just plain out rude. I don't care that if me saying that is rude because y'all were rude to me. So this one is really cool. We have the city of Dublin there on the end pages, and we do have sprayed edges. Okay, but this is very small font. So Shay Wren grew up in the Corporation Flats public housing in Finnan Street, Dublin. He has always toyed with the idea of joining the Garda Síochána, the Irish police, but in the early 1970s, young fellows from the tenants of Dublin have not been welcomed in the police force. When his friend Rosaline is killed and the case goes unsolved, Shay decides to put on the uniform of a Dublin Garda and sets out to find the killer. So undercover police, or pretend to be a policeman, that's a crime, you know, but... Okay, so now we do have 3 in a row that I bought myself. We have A Rising Man by Abir Mukherjee. That's totally wrong. I learned about this book through the channel Hardcover Hearts. In the days of the Raj, a newly arrived Scotland Yard detective is confronted with the murder of a British official, with a note in his mouth warning the British to quit India or else. So this is a historical mystery, which I think I will really enjoy. So Calcutta, 1919. Captain Sam Wyndham, former Scotland Yard detective, is a new arrival to Calcutta. Desperately seeking a fresh start after his experience during the Great War, which we know I love Great War books, Wyndham has been recruited to head up a new post in the police force. He is immediately overwhelmed by the heady vibrancy of the tropical city, but with barely a moment to acclimatize. I know I'm saying that wrong, but it has a dash right there. I'm like, I'm not seeing the word, so I can't say it. That was loud. But okay. Or to deal with the ghosts that still haunt him. Wyndham is caught up in a murder investigation that threatens to destabilize a city already teetering on the brink of political insurgency. So that sounds good. And then this one I'm pretty sure is YA. I got this when I first joined BookTube and still haven't got to it, and it's really short, so I need to. But this is The Roanoke Girls by Amy Engel. I feel like that name sounds really familiar, so maybe I've heard of other books by her. But what makes Roanoke Girls run? When Lane Roanoke was 15, over one long hot summer at her grandparents' estate in rural Kansas, she discovered the terrible truth at the heart of her family. A chilling secret and the reason why all the Roanoke girls either run or die. Lane ran, fast and far away. But 11 years later, when her cousin Allegra goes missing, Lane has no choice but to go back and help search for the girls she left behind. A dark and shocking novel, The Roanoke Girls reveals the secrets families keep and the fierce and terrible love that binds them together and rips them apart. I love books about family, so let's make it a thriller. And this book, I think, was through Hardcover Hearts as well, and it is called Cocaine Blues, a Fern Fisher, I don't know, the PH is throwing me up, mystery by Carrie Greenwood. The London season is in full fling at the end of the 1920s, again a historical mystery. But the Honorable Fern Fisher, she of the green-gray eyes, same, diamond garters, and outfits that should not be sprung suddenly on those of nervous dispositions, is rapidly tiring of the tedium of colonels and dancing with weak-chinned men. Instead, Fern decides it might be rather amusing to try her hand at being a lady detective in Melbourne, Australia. So, going to the far end of the empire. We have another historical mystery. I don't know how I found out about this book, but this is The House on Vesper Sands by Patrick O'Donnell. So London, 1893. High up in a house on a dark snowy night, a lone seamstress stands by a window. So begins the swirling serpentine world of Patrick O'Donnell's Victorian-inspired mystery. The story of a city cloaked in shadow but burning with questions. Why does the seamstress jump from the window? Why is a cryptic message stitched into her skin? And how is she connected to a rush of missing girls, all of whom seem to have disappeared under similar circumstances? By turns smart, surprising, and impossible to put down, The House on Vesper Sands offers a glimpse into the strange undertow of the late 19th century London and the secrets we all hold inside us. So I do think the Victorian times are perfect for this time of year because the gothic, spooky vibes. I just think that, and it's kind of cozy for these cold days, really nice to read. I don't know why Victorian is so associated with October. I just think it has that vibe for some reason. I do know there is a readathon called Victober here on BookTube. I haven't participated in it, but I do think it sounds super cool. Here's one that I got in the unplugged book box called The Woman in the Library by Sulary Gentile. Ornate reading room at the Boston Public Library is quiet until the tranquility is shattered by a woman's terrified scream. Security guards take charge immediately, instructing everyone inside to stay put until the threat is identified and contained. While they wait for all clear, 4 strangers who happen to sit at the same table pass the time in conversation, and friendships are struck. Each has his or her own reasons for being in the reading room that morning. It just happens that one is the murderer. So finding out who did it. This one I showed in a haul recently. This is Lone Women by Victor Lavelle. This is a horror, but historical. So the historical ones we've seen so far have all been thrillers, when this one has horror and I'm assuming paranormal aspects to it. So Adelaide Henry carries an enormous steamer trunk with her wherever she goes. It's locked at all times because when the trunk opens, people around Adelaide start to disappear. So crafted by a modern master of magical suspense, Lone Women blends shimmering prose and an unforgettable cast of adventurers who find horror and sisterhood in a brutal landscape and a portrait of early 20th century America like you have never seen. And at its heart is the gripping story of a woman desperate to bury her past or redeem it. That's something interesting about the West. People could just leave all their past that they had on the East Coast and go west to these new lands and, make a new life for themselves. Kind of romantic in a sense. But now we have The Song Is You, a novel by Megan Abbott. This is more of a noir, but again historical, and we know I love historical. On October 7th, 1949, dark-haired starlet Jean Spangler kissed her 5-year-old daughter goodbye and left for a night shoot at a Hollywood studio. She was never seen again. The only clues left behind, a purse with a broken strap found in a nearby park, a cryptic note, and rumors about mobster boyfriends, and in ill-fated romances with movie stars. Drawing on this real-life missing persons case, The Song Is You takes the reader on a dark tour of Tinseltown, from movie studios, gala premieres, and posh nightclubs to gangsters, blackmailing beauties, and the darkest secrets behind Hollywood's luminous facade. So if you like true crime and you like thrillers, this might be one for you. We have a new release here, which is Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll. So January 15th, 1978, and a night of promise. A serial killer's escape in Aspen, Colorado couldn't be further from the minds of the busy young women at the top sorority of Florida State University's campus in Tallahassee. It is the final murderous spree of the man the papers will soon dub the All-American Sex Killer. But Pamela doesn't know this yet, nor does she know the story of 25-year-old Ruth Wachowski, who 4 years earlier disappeared from Seattle's Lake Sammamish. I used to know how to say that, but okay. State Park in broad daylight, confounding police and shattering Ruth's roommate and best friend, Tina Cannon. Bright Young Women is the story of 2 women who demanded answers to questions nobody else would ask. What happened to Ruth the day she went missing? And how did a serial killer from the Pacific Northwest set his sights on a sorority house in Florida? Toggling between those nightmarish days in 1978 and a letter that brings Pamela and Tina together in the present, the astounding truth is revealed, along with a portrait of the extraordinary women who saw past the media's glorification of the Kennedy of killers for who he really was. I am actually really curious. I don't know why that this is about Ted Bundy, or, that's the killer they're talking about. Why he went to Florida. I would assume you escape from prison and you're going to go as far away as possible. And I mean, Florida is the whole other end of the country. So that's in my head what I assume, but I don't really know why he went to Tallahassee. No idea. Now for more of a horror, we have The Terror by Dan Simmons. This is a gift that my friend Sarah got me, so thankful for that. And this is the men on board the HMS Terror, part of the 1845 Franklin expedition, the first ever to use steam-powered vessels to search for the legendary Northwest Passage, are entering a second summer in the Arctic Circle without a thaw. Stranded in a nightmarish landscape of encroaching ice and darkness, endlessly cold, they struggle to survive with the poisonous rations, a dwindling coal supply, and ships buckling in the grip of crushing ice. But their real enemy is more terrifying. There is something out there in the frigid darkness, an unseen predator stalking their ship, a monstrous terror clawing to get in. I want to know what that predator is so bad. Don't spoil it for me, but I am so curious. Okay, here's one I got on eBay. This is Blackwater Rising by Attica Locke. This was on my long quest of finding books from all over the country, this one taking us to Houston. So Jay Porter has long since made peace with not living the American dream. He runs his fledgling law practice out of a dingy Houston strip mall where his most promising client is a low-rent call girl, and he's determined to leave the sins of his past behind. The guns, the FBI file, the trial that nearly destroyed him. That is until the night he saves a woman from drowning and inadvertently opens a Pandora's box. Her secrets reach into the upper echelons of Houston's corporate power brokers and ensnare Jay in a murder investigation that could cost him his practice, his family, and even his life. So a lot of these have that Pandora box element of opening up a big can of worms. I'm sure y'all know just what Pandora's box means, but a lot of these have that. Is that a common trope in horror and thrillers? As I said before, I'm not really a horror, thriller, mystery person. That's not my main genre. So is that a trope, the Pandora box trope? Let me know if you are big into this genre or just have that knowledge. And now we have the last book here. This I got in the August 2023 book of the month, and that is Happiness Falls by Angie Kim. Open. Okay. We didn't call the police right away. Those are the electric first words of this extraordinary novel about a biracial Korean American. Am I reading a book by the same author? I think that I am. Oh my gosh, I'm literally reading a book by this author right now, Miracle Creek, which I am enjoying. But okay. So, about a biracial Korean-American family in Virginia whose lives are upended when their beloved father and husband goes missing. What follows is both a ticking clock investigation into the whereabouts of a father and an emotionally rich portrait of a family whose most personal secrets may be at the heart of his disappearance. Full of shocking twists and fascinating questions of love, language, and human connection, Happiness Falls is a mystery, a family drama, and a novel of profound philosophical, inquiry. With all the powerful storytelling she brought to her award-winning debut, Miracle Creek, Angie Kim turns the missing person story into something wholly original, creating an undeniable tale of a family who must go to remarkable lengths to truly understand one another. So those are all the spooky books I had to show you today. Let me know in the comments below, have you guys read any of these books, or do you plan to read any of these books this October? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it all the way through, leave a ghost emoji in the comments below, and as always, comment, rate, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!